Have you ever noticed how the smallest memories tend to stay with us the longest? Not the big moments that were photographed and announced, but the quiet ones that slipped by without much notice at all. The ones that return unexpectedly, often when the house is still or the day is winding down. A sound, a smell, a feeling, and suddenly you're somewhere else for a moment. If you've ever experienced that, even just once, then you already understand why this place exists. Welcome to my memory lane. This channel was created because life didn't always feel like it was rushing past us. There was a time when days had a steadier rhythm, when mornings weren't interrupted by alarms demanding immediate attention, and when evenings arrived gently instead of all at once. We didn't talk about slowing down back then, because there was nothing to slow down from. Life moved at a pace that allowed us to notice things, to feel them fully, and to carry them with us without even realizing it. You might remember waking up before the rest of the house and just lying there for a moment, listening. The soft hum of the refrigerator, the creak of the floor as someone else moved through the hallway. The faint sound of a radio already turned on somewhere nearby. There was comfort in those sounds. They meant you were home. They meant the day was beginning the way it was supposed to. Back then, mornings didn't feel rushed. Even when there was work to be done, there was a sense of order to it all. You knew what was expected of you, and you knew how the day would unfold. Breakfast wasn't something you grabbed on the way out the door. It was something you sat down for, even if only briefly. A cup of coffee held in your hands, a plate placed in front of you, a few quiet words exchanged before the day truly began. Now, here's the thing. Those moments felt ordinary at the time. We didn't pause to appreciate them. We didn't think they were special. But years later, they're the ones we return to in our minds. The kitchen tables that carried more than meals. The counters worn smooth from years of use. The chairs that knew the shape of everyone who sat in them. Those spaces held conversations, laughter, disagreements, lessons, and comfort, all without asking for recognition. My memory lane is a place to remember those everyday moments. Not to dwell on what's gone, but to honor what was lived. Because a life isn't made up only of milestones. It's made up of routines, of habits, of familiar sights and sounds that slowly shape who we become. You might remember neighborhoods where you didn't need directions because you knew every street by heart. Where you recognized people by the sound of their car pulling up or the way they walked down the sidewalk. Where children played outside without supervision, not because people were careless, but because everyone was paying attention. There was an unspoken understanding that people looked out for one another. Front doors were often unlocked. Not because no one ever worried, but because trust was common. Borrowing something didn't require a message or a favor to be repaid later. You knocked, you asked, and you brought it back. Sometimes with thanks. Sometimes without words at all. And nobody kept score. We'll talk about school days too. Not just the lessons written on the board, but the feeling of sitting at a desk that had seen generations before you. The smell of chalk and floor wax. The sound of the bell that signaled both relief and responsibility. Teachers who expected effort, who believed discipline was a form of care, and who understood that learning wasn't only about books. You might remember walking to school or waiting for the bus, carrying the same lunch pail day after day. The small excitement of seeing a friend. The nervousness of a test. The comfort of routine. School wasn't perfect, but it was steady. It gave structure to the days and memories to the years. We'll talk about work. Real work. The kind that asked something of you. The kind that left you tired at the end of the day, but also gave you a sense of accomplishment. Jobs that weren't glamorous, but mattered. Jobs where showing up counted, where effort was noticed, and where pride came from doing something well, even if no one applauded. Work didn't define your entire identity, but it played its part. It taught responsibility, patience, and perseverance. It allowed home to be a place of rest. It allowed home to be a place of rest. When you walked through the door at the end of the day, work stayed outside. Home was where you could exhale. You might remember Sundays that felt different from every other day of the week. Mornings that were quieter. Voices that stayed softer. A sense that time itself had slowed down. Whether it was church, family dinners, or simply sitting together, Sundays weren't meant to be productive. They were meant to be meaningful. Those days had a way of grounding us. They reminded us that rest wasn't laziness. That being present mattered. That not every moment needed to be filled with activity. Sometimes, simply being together was enough. Music played a role too. Not loud or constant, but present. Songs that came through the radio, played on record players, or drifted through open windows. Music tied to memories of dances, drives, holidays, and quiet evenings. Songs that still bring back faces, places, and feelings the moment you hear the first few notes. And then there are the memories that feel heavier. The ones tied to people who are no longer here. Voices you can still hear clearly. Laughter that once filled rooms. Laughter that once filled rooms. Empty chairs that quietly remind you of who used to sit there. Remembering those people can be painful, but it's also a reminder of love. Because you don't miss someone unless they matter deeply. This channel isn't here to rush you through those feelings or to tell you how to handle them. It's here to sit with you. To acknowledge that remembering can be both comforting and bittersweet. And that both are okay. You might be wondering if anyone else feels this way. If anyone else thinks about these things when the world seems louder and faster than it used to be. And the answer is yes. Many of us are carrying the same memories. We just haven't always had a place to share them. That's what my memory lane is meant to be. A shared space. A quiet place. Somewhere you can come when you want to remember without explanation. Where the pace is gentle and the stories are familiar. Do you ever find yourself thinking about a place that no longer exists, yet still feels close? A home, a street, a routine that shaped you without asking permission? If you do, you're in the right place. If you've stayed with me this far, you might enjoy walking down this road again. Feel free to like, share, or subscribe if these memories mean something to you. This channel isn't going anywhere. It will be here when you need it. We'll take our time here. We won't rush the stories. We won't hurry the memories. because some things are worth remembering slowly. Welcome to my memory lane.